News moves fast, and so do we. Welcome to Neural Newscast, your AI-powered, human-reviewed daily briefing.
Get ready for a deep dive from Neural Newscast. I'm Thomas, and Daniel is here with me as we delve into today's subjects. Daniel, did you know that on this day in 1848, the Seneca Falls Convention kicked off in New York? It's quite a pivotal event.
Absolutely, Thomas. The Seneca Falls Convention was a groundbreaking moment. It essentially laid the foundation for the women's rights movement in the U.S. Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Lucretia Mott were truly ahead of their time, weren't they?
They certainly were. It's fascinating how they managed to bring together all these reformers under one roof to demand equal social, civil, and religious rights for women. Just imagine the energy that must have filled the room.
Right? And think about the courage it took to do that back in 1848. I mean, public opinion wasn't exactly on their side. Yet, these women stood up and declared what they believed in with such conviction.
Exactly, Daniel. And remember, this was where Stanton presented the Declaration of Sentiments, which was modeled after the Declaration of Independence. It clearly stated that all men and women are created equal, which was quite radical for that era.
That's a good point, Thomas. That document not only echoed the language that Americans were familiar with, but also challenged the status quo by explicitly including women. And they went one step further by listing grievances, similar to the original Declaration. That's some strategic storytelling.
It truly is. And what's interesting is how the convention wasn't just about legal rights, but social and religious rights too. They were thinking big picture. They wanted equality across every aspect of life.
And while we know rights weren't granted overnight, the convention planted seeds of change that would eventually sprout into major reforms. It's like the beginning of a marathon rather than a sprint, in sports terms.
Exactly. And of course, the movement gained momentum through the 19th and 20th centuries, culminating in the right to vote with the 19th Amendment in 1920. It's a reminder of how change often requires persistence over time.
Definitely. And all of this stemmed from a single, daring event. The participants at Seneca Falls must have felt some kind of historical weight on their shoulders, don't you think?
I bet they did. But that determination to press on despite the odds is truly inspiring. It's like in sports when an underdog takes on a champion. Everyone loves a good underdog story, right?
Exactly, Thomas. And it reminds us that progress often starts with a small group of dedicated individuals willing to stand up and be heard. It's quite the legacy.
It sure is. And on the anniversary of this important event, it's essential to reflect on how far we've come and the journey that still lies ahead. Today we celebrate the birthdays of Gabriel García Márquez, 1927, Martina Navratilova, 1956, and Ryan Reynolds, 1976.
Quite the lineup. But let's dive into the fascinating life of one Gabriel García Márquez. I mean, 100 years of solitude changed the way we look at magical realism, didn't it?
Absolutely. García Márquez wasn't just a novelist, he was a literary magician who brought Latin American culture and history to life in a way that was both enchanting and profound. His narratives are rich tapestries of magical elements intertwined with reality.
His ability to weave those elements into stories that resonated globally is remarkable. He took what could have been niche and made it universally relatable. In fact, his influence can be seen in literature all around the world.
And, it wasn't just fiction, he was also a journalist, and that background really shaped his narrative style, giving his stories that grounded, authentic feel, even amidst all the magic. It's that journalistic eye for detail that made his world so vivid.
Right. His experience covering political events in Colombia definitely added layers to his storytelling. The political undercurrents in his novels, those reflections on power and freedom, were striking.
Speaking of politics, did you know he was friends with Fidel Castro? That friendship often put him in a controversial spotlight, but it also gave him unique insights into the political landscape of Latin America.
I remember reading about that. It's fascinating how his close ties with political figures didn't sway his literary voice. He remained a profound critic of power, capturing its nuances beautifully in his works.
Exactly. And let's not forget his Nobel Prize in Literature in 1982. It's hard to believe it's been over 40 years since then. His acceptance speech, The Solitude of Latin America, was as captivating as his novels.
It was a call to understand the complexities of Latin America beyond stereotypes. He redefined storytelling and provided a voice to a region that many had misunderstood.
And that legacy endures. New generations continue to discover his work, sparking conversations about everything from politics to personal identity.
Garcia Marquez's narratives are timeless. They invite us to challenge our perceptions and embrace the idea that the mundane can indeed be magical.
Time for a quick pause. We'll explore more when Neural Newscast Deep Dive returns.
Fast, reliable, and powered by the future today. This is Neural Newscast. Catch every episode at nnewscast.com.
Welcome back to Neural Newscast Deep Dive. Let's continue our exploration. So, Daniel, did you know Mike Tyson's rough and tumble childhood played a pivotal role in turning him into the boxing legend we know today?
You know, Thomas, that doesn't surprise me too much. Tyson's fierce reputation in the ring had to come from somewhere, right? But how did it all start?
It all goes back to his early life in Brooklyn. Tyson was just a kid, but he was constantly bullied. Can you imagine that? The guy who'd later become the baddest man on the planet was once picked on.
Incredible, but it does make sense. That kind of adversity can really mold a person. So, how did he turn that around?
Well, his childhood wasn't just about bullying. He ended up in reform school by the age of 13. And it was there, of all places, he found boxing. A counselor recognized his potential and introduced him to the sport. From then on, his life took a different turn.
It's fascinating how those structured environments can sometimes unlock hidden talents. Reform school may not sound like the ideal place to discover your passion, but for Tyson, it was a game changer.
Absolutely. But it wasn't just the reform school. Tyson grew up in a tough neighborhood where street fighting was almost a way of life. He learned to defend himself and, in the process, honed his raw boxing skills.
Right? And those skills were raw initially. It's like he harnessed all that chaotic energy from the streets and channeled it into the discipline required for boxing.
Precisely, Daniel. And let's not forget his mentor, Cus D'Amato. He saw that potential in Tyson and helped refine it. D'Amato was instrumental in transforming Tyson's street fighting savvy into championship-ready brilliance.
D'Amato was like a father figure, wasn't he? Guiding Tyson's aggression into something more strategic and controlled.
Exactly. That guidance was crucial. Tyson wasn't just a powerful hitter, he became a strategic fighter with the ability to anticipate and counteract his opponent's moves. Really remarkable if you think about it.
It truly is. And it's a testament to how our origins, no matter how tough, can be redirected into extraordinary achievements with the right intervention and support.
Indeed. Tyson's story is a prime example of resilience and transformation. From a bullied kid to a reform school student and then a street fighter turned champion. It highlights the incredible journey of a man who might have been written off by many, but who defied the odds to become one of the greatest boxers in history.
It's a story of redemption and triumph, showing that even the harshest beginnings can lead to greatness. Tyson's life is a reminder that champions aren't just born, they're forged through fire. Thanks for tuning into our deep dive. I'm Daniel, and from Thomas and the Neural Newscast team, we'll see you next time.
You've been listening to Neural Newscast, where history and curiosity collide. Dive deeper at nnewscast.com. Neural Newscast integrates real and AI-generated voices to facilitate efficient, high-quality news production. Developed by human experts, Our AI-generated content undergoes rigorous fact-checking and human review before publication. While we strive for accuracy and neutrality, AI-generated content may occasionally contain errors. We encourage listeners to verify crucial details from reliable sources. For more on our AI transparency practices, visit newscast.com.